Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, a very vibrant European city once, is now living under a blanket curfew. The residents have been asked to stay at home and off the streets. Some Russian forces, remember, have managed to enter into the city, so anyone who is found loitering about on the streets is now being assumed as a member of the enemy post the curfew. Now, the evening started with a blaring air raid siren. Russian forces pounded the capital with artillery and cruise missiles. In the dead of the night, streets were left empty, in contrast to the column of vehicles choking roads in recent days. Tens of thousands of residents fled towards the west and continue to do so in the hope of evading the fighting that's now broken out on the streets of Kyiv. So this is what life looks like in a war zone. People are taking shelter on makeshift beds in an underground car parking. Officials have also issued warnings for people to stay away from windows and to take precautions and extra care to avoid flying debris and bullets. In the last couple of nights, many have spent sheltering in basements, in underground parking, in garages and also in subway stations. Now, Ukraine is said to have some of the deepest metro stations anywhere in the world. Russia claims that its assault on Ukraine is aimed only at military targets. But reports that are coming in show that installations such as bridges, schools and kindergartens and residential buildings have also come under attack. A member of the Ukrainian parliament, in fact, took to Twitter to say that Kyiv will be under attack like never before, because the Russian troops will be hitting the city with everything that they've got. But it seems like the will to fight has, of course, not died down in Ukraine. Locals and politicians have flooded Twitter with hashtag Ukraine will flourish. Now, the Western leaders have urged Vladimir Putin to choose the path of diplomacy, but after Kremlin ordered its troops to barge into its neighbouring nation, diplomacy, of course, has taken a bit of a back seat. Kyiv has maintained that it is always open for a dialogue, but in a statement, the Russian Defense Ministry claims that Ukraine has rejected the negotiation process, after which Moscow ordered to broaden its offensive from all directions.
Вчера, после заявлений киевского режима о готовности к переговорам, активные боевые действия на основных направлениях операции были приостановлены. После того, как украинская сторона отказалась от переговорного процесса, сегодня всем подразделениям был отдан приказ о развитии наступления на всех направлениях в соответствии с планом проведения операции.
Now, in the latest statement by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he said that presidents of Azerbaijan and Turkey have organized for talks with Russia, and Kyiv is ready for the negotiations.
Ільхам Алієв і президент Ердоган запропонували організувати переговори з Росією. Це можна тільки привітати.
Meanwhile, in the far east of Ukraine, in the Donetsk region, parts of which are still controlled by the Russian-backed separatists, tensions, remember, started from here. Russia, earlier in the week, recognized Donetsk and Luhansk as independent regions. There's been fierce fighting that's been reported between the Ukrainian troops and the rebel leaders. Fresh shelling has also reportedly damaged many buildings. At this moment, it is not clear as to how many fatalities have taken place in these latest round of clashes. And down south, the port city is home to Ukraine's hydroelectric power plant, where satellite images now show Russian ground forces having taken charge of this power plant. The images, of course, have been released by Maxar Technologies. Trucks can be seen on the dam for the plant, as well as others parked by a road. Now, experts say the Russian troops have been met with an unexpected level of resistance by the Ukrainians in the last 3 days. In 2019, Volodymyr Zelensky was a comedian who stormed to power by winning an election. He had no political history. 3 years later, he's a wartime president, leading a stout defense against Russian aggression into Ukraine. Listen to Volodymyr Zelensky and what he's had to say about Ukraine's strategy in fighting the war.
Боротися стільки, скільки потрібно, щоб звільнити нашу країну, якщо діти вже народжуються в укриттях, навіть коли тривають постійно обстріли, то у ворога немає жодного шансу у цій, безперечно, народній війні.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.